back to another episode of Hudson's Highlights. What we do here on my channels, we discuss movies and TV shows and things within that space. I know it has been quite a while, as you can maybe tell throughout the video. I have been struggling with a small sickness, kind of bounced around the family, and so pushed a bunch of my videos out. But today, what we're going to discuss is The Electric State. It was a straight to Netflix movie, and really wasn't received very well. So I took the time before I was fully too sick to do so, and watched the movie. Me and my wife watched it together. I will say this will be a non-spoiler discussion, so anything I discuss, you can see in the trailers or you can read in the review of the movie. The movie was pretty good. I was actually quite surprised by the um, lackluster reviews of the movie. I thought the movie was pretty good. Honestly, I think the biggest problem with the movie is how much they spent on the movie. I think the majority of people who don't like this movie don't like the movie because you're looking at a movie that costs as much as it costs, and it wasn't a movie that I would say you would go out and spend $300+ million to make. Now, with that being said, they did spare no expense with the CGI. The CGI was fantastic. It was a blockbuster level CGI movie. Really, really was. It stars Chris Pratt, Millie Bobby Brown, Ke Kwan, Stanley Tucci, Woody Norman, Anthony Mackie as Herman, who was a friend robot of Chris Pratt in the movie, Chris Pratt's character. Really good. So I will say there were a lot of things about the movie that I found very pleasant. The character play between Chris Pratt and Millie Bobby Brown was pretty good. I don't know how much I enjoy her acting outside of Stranger Things. That's not a play on her. I just feel like personally, she seems to give me that role a lot. And maybe that'll grow on me as she continues to develop as an actress. But I just didn't think that I didn't think that was the best casting choice, but I get why they went that direction, especially with a Netflix movie. It made sense. Ke Kwan was fantastic in the movie in the parts that he was in. He was pretty good in it. Anthony Mackie as Herman was hilarious. I honestly didn't even realize that was him throughout the movie. I would often forget that's who's playing that role because of the way he changed his voice a little bit to be more robotic. It was pretty cool. The movie overall was good, man. I think it was. I would probably lean right where they put it as far as the IMDb score. Now the Rotten Tomatoes score is at 15%. I don't know if I would align with that, but I am close to the audience score. I'm close to the IMDb score. I think it's probably a 60% out of 100 movie. So I can see why there is some people who watched it and thought, it was okay, and then some who watched it like myself and enjoyed it. I thought it was a pretty good movie for what it was, straight to Netflix. And I think a lot of that for me is because I expect certain qualities, and maybe that's my fault, or maybe to my benefit, is that I expect a certain quality whenever you're going to drop something straight on streaming. I just don't expect you to give me spectacle. I expect to enjoy my time. I expect it to be a well worth watching movie, but I'm not expecting you to give me Avengers Endgame. You know what I mean? When you're giving me a movie straight to Netflix, I'm just not expecting that. And maybe for my benefit, because I felt that way going in, I wasn't as disappointed as others were. The movie itself it didn't feel very rushed. It didn't feel very long. It's about a 2 hour and 8 minute movie, PG-13. So as long as you're okay with your kids watching a little bit of violence, some robot violence, then you shouldn't have too much of a hard time allowing your children to enjoy this movie with or without you. Um, the interplay between Millie Bobby Brown and her robot companion in the movie, I won't give away. I don't remember if they told you who he or it was early in the trailer, so I won't say who he ends up being, but that was a pretty good interplay. Like I mentioned before, Herman and Chris Pratt's character was hilarious through and through the entire movie. The One of the things that I will say the movie didn't do well was there were a lot of convenient things happening in this movie. Like things just so happened to conveniently be in locations, and it felt very, very unrealistic at times. Like how did you just so happen to be within an arm's throw of this thing? And how does it just so happen that you needed this thing to be there and there it is? So there was a few things about the movie that I thought was strange, but mostly just because of the convenience of it all, not because it pulled me from the movie whatsoever. Just because I felt like you maybe could have gave us 15 more minutes just diving into how they ended up being in certain locations or how things end up being where they are, and not just all of a sudden the thing that you're looking for is within an eye shot of where you're currently standing. Outside of that, Stanley Tucci played a great villain. I like the villain that he plays because he's not really playing an evil mustache. As you watch my channel, you know I'm not a big fan of the mustache twirling villains. He doesn't play that character. He plays more of a he really thinks that what he's doing is the right thing to do. And he feels like his ends justify the means. And as long as he succeeds, then no one will care how he got there. And I like that kind of a villain. So, really good job um, fleshing out, especially throughout the movie, why he feels what he's doing is the right thing to do. And also gives you a good dynamic between why each individual character is doing or acting the way they are acting based on things they've gone through. So, like I said, wasn't a terrible movie, man. I don't know why the 15% was slapped on it. I disagree with that 100%. My wife and I both watched it together. We both thought it was a pretty good movie. It has some very good action sequences in it. Has some very good touching moments in it. Some really good laughs. So as long as you don't go in expecting to be knocked off, not having your socks knocked off, I think it's worth a 2 hour watch, 2 hours and 8 minutes with credits. I think it's definitely well worth it. But if you've already checked it out, and if you haven't, if you feel like you will, whatever your thoughts on the movie will be, let those comments flow in the comment section down below. My next video is going to be on Dead or Born Again episode 8. I'm going to drop 8 and then subsequently drop 9, if not that same night, the night directly after. Just trying to catch up here. I had to go ahead and just scrap the whole Last of Us season 1 rewatch because just so many things were happening and it kept getting interfered with and kept getting bumped and bumped and bumped. And by the time I was able to get well enough to start shooting videos again, we were already about to start season 2, which I'll be dropping an episode of that, a full spoiler review of that episode 1, season 2, episode 1 this week as well. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Thank you so much for subscribing and watching. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. And I will see you on the next episode of Hustlers Highlights. Take care.